3, 2, 1. It's cloppin' time. That was a line from all of the Fantastic Four films with no adjustments made on my end. I'm Adam from Your Movie Sex. This is Sardonicast.
Yeah, you kind of took mine. I'm Alex from IHE.
Oh, you were going to say the same
it's
thing.
It's Sardobbering time.
Oh, God. Huh? Sardobbering. What the
fuck? No.
That was more punishment than your guys' attempt at spite recommendation. You should have just said that at the end of the last episode.
Well,
I have a good one. That was pretty sardonic what you said. What are we, some kind of sardonic podcast?
Oh, I like that one.
Say that again?
Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
Again.
Guys, this sucked. Let's be real. This was such a bummer.
Oh, so it was you did self-inflicted damage. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's back on us.
You encouraged me, Alex. This is just on you as well.
Fine. I'll take some of it.
Yeah. Well, Jake's you're responsible for the last 2 episodes then.
I'm going to move on. You know, I'm going to be nice because you actually I've met you now in person for real.
Yes.
And
I visited.
I feel like
very briefly.
Yeah, you visited my house. You were inside my room.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I said it like that.
Ominous.
It's a very normal visit. You gave me a microphone. That was very nice.
You're welcome.
The microphone I'm using right now, so the audience can judge now whether Adam has the better microphone or I did.
I think it sounds better from the tests that I did. So
I think it does. I like it. I'm happy with it.
Good.
But yeah, it was a good visit. We should have commemorated it with a photograph or something.
I was thinking about that, but there'll be another opportunity. The photo is in my memory, which will eventually disappear. And
I'll say this, Adam, surprisingly tall. I wasn't expecting that.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good times. Good times. I'm glad you visited.
You were also surprisingly tall. Most people are way shorter for me.
Yeah, I'm like 7'1".
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm like 8'5".
You feel small over here.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm just a normal horse. Okay?
Yeah, relatively normal. Yeah, you met my child.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm.
They were cute.
You guys, yeah. You talking about yourself or the baby?
Both.
Okay.
It was plural pronouns.
Are there any other beginning matters to attend to before we do this?
Any dramas? Any anger?
No, I mean, you guys, I don't know. I'm happy that we got to do this episode because I think that the 94 film was a lot of fun. So we added in the 94 film. Let's just start with the 94 film. We're here.
Okay. Yeah.
Happy Pride Month, everybody. We're here. We're queer. Get used to it.
Yeah.
It's the gay episode.
This is a gay podcast. Yeah.
Fuck.
This is the gay one.
Damn. Do I need to change my recommendation?
We dedicate the Fantastic Four to Pride Month.
All right. I'll be thinking before the next end of this episode whether or not I need to change my recommendation for Pride Month. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. You should probably make it thematic.
Yeah, we always forget. All right. It's 94 Fantastic Four. This film didn't get released officially, but you can find it on YouTube. And essentially, it was only made to continue whoever holding the rights to the Fantastic Four property. And so they searched far and wide to get filmmakers who were known for making things cheap. So they got Roger Corman, who's also responsible for things like the original Death Race film, a lot of lowish budget but fun, campy stuff in that era.
The late, great Roger Corman died recently, right?
How recently? Oh, a couple.
Oh,
did he?
A couple years
Yeah,
ago.
like a couple of years ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He was old. I mean,
so I actually last night I watched a little documentary on this film as well.
Oh, same. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It was all right in terms of its presentation, but what I learned from that is they also reached out to Trauma, like Lloyd Kaufman, to make a Fantastic Four film, and he refused because he's friends with Stan Lee and didn't want to ruin it. And I just found that tidbit very funny.
Nice.
What do you guys think? I loved it. I thought it was great.
It's probably the best one out of these 4 Fantastic Four movies, and I mean that unironically.
I would call it the best Marvel film.
Well,
okay. Come on.
I'd call it a normie masterpiece myself.
I mean, sure. Yeah. Normie me up, daddy. I lost my normie pass with that last word. Never mind.
Yeah, that gave you away.
True.
Sorry.
Yeah, this was fun. This was a fun movie.
It was awesome.
It's bad, but in like a fun way, not in a boring, want to smash myself in the face with a rock kind of a way that one of these other movies happens to be like.
I can't even tell which one, but we'll get there.
We'll get to it. Yeah, no, this was really fun. But surprisingly, Ben Grimm, The Thing, what were they on with those press? That was like good. He looked good.
It was some kind of Ninja Turtle stuff, you know?
I liked it. It was like, it was
the
cute.
motors in the face. Yeah, I really like The Thing in it. I feel like out of the 4, like if we just go base level with the Fantastic Four as characters, I don't really know anything about these guys. The one thing I do kind of consistently like is The Thing, or at least the idea of The Thing, because I don't know, he gets handed like a pretty bad like rap compared to everyone else. He's like really screwed over by the situation that these characters are put in, right? Where like, I don't know, it's kind of handy to be able to stretch or set yourself on fire or go invisible, but he gets like turned into a rock man.
You're just rock guy.
And the more they lean into rock guy and like how much that would suck, the more I kind of like it. And as you're getting at, he's one of the more entertaining parts of the original outside of just the silly campiness of it. And as we're getting at with that documentary, which I did also kind of enjoy, the 2 of these 4 movies, like the most interesting thing about it is like the meta commentary, the story around it, like the lore behind the scenes is like more interesting than the actual movie itself. I would recommend that documentary too. It's called Doom I just watched it on YouTube. I don't know where you saw it, Adam, but it was interesting. Got some tidbits here and there about that weird, victim of Hollywood bureaucracy angle, and just like using this IP as leverage, and the ultimate consequence of it being this team of people that had to scramble together this movie in '94 with the limited budget they had of $1 million about. And I don't know, that passion does kind of seep through it in ways. It kind of captures the 60s corny vibe of the Fantastic Four, of how, like, as I say, I don't really know much about these characters or anything, but it was like the one my dad always talked about growing up in the 60s and whatnot. It's always his favorite, and I don't know, the new movie seems to kind of be going in that sort of angle too, having it more of like a period piece. It's a really difficult set of characters, I feel, to get right, because they are kind of so campy. And one of the most consistently intriguing things about it is the stretchy man angle. Like,
maybe the worst main character of all time. Like for a superhero, that's your lead.
It can be intriguing, I guess, on the page when these characters are drawn or animated in some way, but when you take it into live action, I feel like that is the most challenging.
It's disgusting
one to sell. Like it's
really
creepy.
Gross,
it is gross, and you can even tell that like Marvel now are kind of concerned about how that's going to go over with all this marketing for the new movie. Like I think there's only been one shot of Stretch so far, whereas all the others have been.
Oh no, they're trying to hide him.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm so curious.
This would be an appropriate time for the woke agenda to appear, because if they change that to just a girl, then it would be great for everybody. You know, like Elastigirl is fetishized the fuck out of.
Yeah. Right?
People like it. They think she's hot.
It wasn't creepy because it was animated. Yeah.
So when it's a dude stretching, it's weird. but if it's like a mom, it's great for everybody. So they really need to gender swap that.
Okay.
I mean, people like it. People like Elastigirl.
I don't know. I feel like it would still be creepy as hell in live action. Like that's the big
maybe that's
issue,
the problem.
not really like what gender they are. Yeah.
I think that this low budget version toes the line very well because it's kind of charming every time he stretches because you see like the practical effects and stuff that they try to do to make it work. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like, oh, that's kind of clever. Like, that's funny. I mean, I like the part where he trips some bad guys and like his pants stretch with him as well, inconceivably.
Yeah.
And they're not special pants, they're just normal pants.
Oh, yeah, that was a good scene. I like how the bad guys couldn't see that like a dozen of them were tripping in front of them. Also, they just keep running forward.
Yeah.
With no understanding.
Yeah. Or like the last shot in the movie being the stretchy arm out of the
that's my
favorite. Yeah, that's fun.
It's such a good shot to end on.
That is etched into my brain forever. Like, that's literally the first image I think of when I think of 94 Fantastic Four now.
It's so good.
Just literally that shot. Like, that ending solidified my love for the film. I was like, this is just fucking great.
I don't know. For me, it was the Human Torch as the screensaver flying across, you know.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was like some Tron effects. Like, that was
rough.
It was fun.
A little worse than Tron.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's the thing that I like about this movie so much is that I feel like newer, low budget like movies trying to reach this scale with superheroes or whatever that are super low budget, they lean into really bad CGI. And because of when this movie came out, it's fun to see how older, bad, low budget movies would try to cut corners. And there's like so many interesting shots, a lot of shadow, a lot of like reusing sets in interesting ways. Like they have to rely on like classical filmmaking techniques to try to like make it look way bigger than it does. And it kind of gives it this sense of scale that you just don't get from a lot of low budget crap you see today.
True. Yeah. Especially given their limitations. The fact that they were filming in like, what was it? Like barely a warehouse, like just a really small location that wasn't even like a professional like studio set or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact there was never an official release, so it was kind of like a scuffed version that's probably been copied, and it's just somehow made its way onto like illegal DVDs, basically. Yeah. So it's at most VHS quality.
Who owns the rights to it right now? Would it just, I guess Disney, because they own Fox.
I think Marvel probably have it in a vault somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They like somebody has to have a master copy of this, and it would just be so good to release. Like it would be awesome. People would love it. Like people would buy it. Why wouldn't they?
Definitely.
Like there's so much interest and intrigue behind this right now that people are talking about it still. This movie that never even got released. Yeah, I hate anti-art shelving. You know, it's the same shit that David Zaslav's doing.
Yep.
It's just it's so irritating. Just release the movie. Like, it's done. It's finished. Just release it. Fucking put it on iTunes. There's no barrier. You don't even have to print physical media. There's no cost associated with it. You pay one guy for like an hour to like type some things into the computer and then it's uploaded. Like, holy shit.
Put it on Disney Plus.
Exactly. Literally.
What are the famous ones that happened to? They did that with what? Batgirl and the Looney Tunes one, right? But the Looney Tunes one, someone bought it, right? Some company?
Ketchup Entertainment, I think.
That's not real.
Yeah. No, I think that is. I think that's actually it. It sounds like a joke. Let me just verify.
Oh, good for them. I'm really happy.
Yeah, they're a film production company, and they did the Day the Earth Blew Up as well.
Maybe Mustard will buy Catgirl.
Yeah.
Or no, Bad Girl. Sorry.
Bad Girl.
Bad Girl.
Yeah, hopefully someone does. Because like it doesn't even matter if the film sucks. Just release it. Just release it. You have no cost associated with this. People put their fucking blood, sweat, and tears. Maybe, we can't tell. We'd like to judge. We'd like to see if that was the case, but like this, it's people's jobs. Whenever they're applying for another film, like, what have you worked on? I worked on this, but I have nothing to show for it. I can't put it in my demo reel because they shelved the entire movie.
Right. So let's pressure Disney. Let's release the Fantastic Four 1994 cut on Disney Plus and get that rolling. I will not rest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people are going to be involved.
Everyone will care.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have enough of an outcry that it makes it to the artists involved, but the people involved with this are just Disney, not like one particular who's in charge of Disney right now? Is it Bob Iger still? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, like came back or something.
I don't know if we can contact him. I don't know if there's a way to get their attention.
You've got connections. Can't you call him?
He's a listener.
He's a listener.
I've got connections, but
he listens every 2 weeks. Yeah.
I don't have those connections.
Could you imagine Bob Iger just like a Sardonicast fan? Yeah.
He might be.
He just keeps it on the down low, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be surprised if people in relatively high positions at Disney haven't seen my like Kimba video or something.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Because that's good PR for them. They'd want that circulating around internally,
Yeah, it must be like people's jobs to, scour the internet and just try and get a read on what people are saying and thinking, whether they like it or not.
Do you think Jon Favreau has watched your Lion King video?
I'm sure people have sent it to him in some way. I'm sure anybody with the ability to send him something has sent it to him. I don't know if he has social media or whatever. I don't encourage this, but I just assume that this is the case because it's a large, like it's a multi-million view video or whatever. So
yeah.
It's just statistically likely.
Well, now that we have the new Fantastic Four coming out, I really doubt Disney will do anything with this. They probably want to suppress it even more. They probably want to suppress the old Fantastic Four movies. I don't think they want it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Well, I mean, like they chose to put it on there because they just want a content library that's just so large that people don't run out of things to watch.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of like a subscription service, right?
Yeah, you can just churn views consistently. That's where I watched the 2005 and 2007 one. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
yeah,
tons of ads.
I really liked the music in this film. I thought that the music was actually like pretty good.
Yes, it has the best soundtrack out of the four as well.
Yeah, out of the four.
Yeah, 40-piece orchestra. It's like actually got a memorable theme compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
I remember something about it. Yeah, actually added something to it.
I'll always I never stop appreciating just how in the mid 90s era of film it was the standard to have a real composer and an orchestra. Like that was just like the expectation for any score. And now it's just like, get some rando to imitate temp music that was created for another thing. Mm-hmm. Like no real composition, and even if you do get composition, it's just going to be Hans Zimmer like either phoning it in or getting one of his students to do it. Like, yeah, there was a standard for music in the mid 90s that like you could just watch any random film and be like, hey, you know what? The music's actually doing something here.
Do you think that the studios are moving away from that a little bit to try to have some kind of memorable like tune you can hum? Like it just feels like, or is it just because it's easier and now we've become accustomed to having like more of an unobtrusive score that's just kind of there?
That's a good question. I honestly think that temp music is to blame because people who have a vision of what the movie should be are often comparing it to other movies, especially if it's like people making the money decisions. They're like, okay, this film was a success, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you tell a composer, hey, you need to make it sound like this in this scene, then you're just not going to get like a great composition, because if whatever scene you're using as a reference is probably going to be the best version of that feel that there is, because you're using that as a reference. And when you're trying to imitate that as a composer, you're going to change it enough so that it's not copyright infringement, or maybe so that it's not necessarily recognizable to the average listener, but you're not going to get like a real memorable melody or theme out of it the way that we've seen in so many films throughout the 90s and 2000s. And
it suffocates creativity.
That's something that appears to be missing from higher budget films, especially right now.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks.
I think that's why I'm looking forward to the new Fantastic Four, because they have Giacchino, I think. It's Giacchino, right, doing the new score. And even in the trailers, and even in the trailers, it's like very memorable. It's kind of catchy, and I'm like, oh, they're doing something unique here. Yeah.
And like, it seems to understand the property, the poppiness of it.
Yes,
kind of campy, but also semi-epic, kind of in scope. Yeah, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, I saw the trailer and I thought it was like a Disney Plus TV show.
Damn.
I didn't even know they were doing a movie until someone on stream told
me. let's talk about let's save the new one for the very end. Maybe we can discuss that after these.
The acting in this was very campy, but I feel it had some heart.
That's what's good about it.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of gay energy.
Why is the $1 million budget Fantastic Four have the best Doom out of all four?
Like
he looks the best. He's got the most charisma, and he's chewing the scenery hard. Yeah. But it's like, wow, how is this $1 million production channeling this better than the combined like 300 million pumped into this franchise later? Like, how did you miss it like that hard?
Yeah,
he's kind of firing this.
I've heard a lot of people point out that one of the biggest challenges with Fantastic Four is the inherent wackiness to the characters, and then trying to adapt that into the landscape of seriously toned Marvel cinematic universe, or whatever we want to call it. Like the 2000s versions were trying to be the same level of like seriousness as maybe like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man that came out shortly beforehand.
They're definitely going for that. Yeah,
but yeah, like there does seem to be something inherently conflicting about that. But what the 94 version did is, because it's a fucking campy Roger Corman thing. Like, sure, they were trying to be serious at some points, but like the energy of it overall, I feel, is like the most fitting and appropriate for what what the inherent silliness of the characters kind of demands, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, because they're all campy, they're all doing really big acting, that it kind of coheres, and you just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. It's like Saturday morning cartoon type stuff almost.
Yeah, real B-movie energy going on here.
I will say, I kind of got really scared at the beginning of this movie when Reed Richards meets Sue Storm, and she's like 12.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's
creepy. What's going on?
I forgot about that. You're dreamy.
That was weird. That was frightening. Yeah. I mean, it's still weird, because how old would she be? Because there's like a 10-year time jump, right?
Yeah, there's a 10-year gap, and then they like just instantly get together.
Yeah.
It's a creepy ass dynamic, a really weird way to introduce your main character.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the... It was a different time.
94.
Yeah, well, Woody Allen was doing stuff, right?
He's still doing stuff in France.
It always moved to France and still do well in France.
Yeah.
That's always the strat. That's like the Russell Brand pivot to Christian right-wing grifter when you get a sexual assault allegation. For directors, it's go to France and continue your career there and win Caesar Awards.
Dude.
Everybody's got a strat, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
The pacing in this film was surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
Like,
I never felt bored the entire time.
I don't know. I liked most of it outside of that weird B plot with I think it was supposed to be a character called Mole Man.
Oh my god!
But they didn't have the rights.
Yeah.
So instead,
Hans Mole Man.
We don't know Mole Man. So I had to look this up. I'd never heard of this guy. He's like a recurring Fantastic Four villain, apparently, Mole Man.
Okay.
But that guy who steals the diamond is that guy in spirit. In the same way, at the end of The Incredibles, there's the Underminer, who I guess is probably a reference to Mole Man, if I had to guess. And that's, I don't know, part of what I mean by the animated side of it, where we've seen a reinvented Fantastic Four in The Incredibles and seen like, okay, you can kind of do this. It does sort of need to be packaged as an animated thing for it to not be creepy and kind of not be annoying and get the tone right. I mean, it feels serious, but also kind of comedic and self-aware in a certain way. And yeah, outside of The Incredibles, this is probably the closest it's been, like, ironically, even despite everything going against it.
Unironically.
Yeah, it actually kind of has, I mean, it straight up has better characterization than a lot of the other ones, so like, it has way more going for it. It's just quite charming. You really can't have a problem with it once you know that context, despite how silly it is on its face, but that just kind of makes me like it more.
Yeah. I would straight up buy a fucking Blu-ray of this if it existed. I think it exists in this perfect space in my mind of like, I'm laughing at it, but also I love it and I'm not like pissed at it, you know? Like it's so fucking cheesy, but you can see the passion and the love put into it by these people. You know, they were actually trying to do something, even if it just comes off as really strange and a fun time capsule.
Yeah, it's like the inverse of the 2015 one.
It is,
pretty much.
Exactly.
In a way.
Do you guys have any relationship to the comic books?
No.
No, I've always, like, everyone loves Doctor Doom so much. And I like his design. And he's got, like, as the kids would say, aura, right?
That's what kids would say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and I want to see that.
They're going to say that in the next Avengers, you know. They're going to be like, damn, Doctor Doom.
It will be in the new film.
Got the aura.
Wow, Galactus, you got aura, bro. Yeah. So I want that character to be like done right on screen. I don't know if Robert Downey's going to be able to bring that. But as far as like I had to Google, what does Doctor Doom even do? Like, what are his powers?
He's a dictator,
like, I know
right?
the Fantastic Four on their face. He's like a dictator, but he's also
a wizard. He
was like college friends with Mr. Fantastic, so they've got this like historic beef. And he's like disfigured, and that's why he wears a mask. And he's got something to do with lightning. And at some point, he's like a Doctor Strange or something. Like, I don't know. There's so much, something like that. I mean, this has been going for decades and decades, so I have no clue. Someone who's more educated on that will have to fill in. But I wouldn't even know where to begin as far as like, oh yes, this run from 1974 to 78 is where you want to start, and I have no clue.
This whole watching these 4 movies really got me interested in it. So I was looking on buying like some older collection of like the best, you know, run or whatever. I don't know. Actually, this is a question to maybe our audience of what's a good place to start with Fantastic Four comics, because I am interested in reading more.
I'm not, but
okay.
I really enjoyed this film, and I love the how Doctor Doom just kept clacking his fingers together. Like every single scene, they made sure to have extra clackiness on his fingers. Like when he's just doing any kind of gesture or like pointing, it's like click, 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 click. Love it.
He's clacking and cackling. He's laughing in every scene. He's like scream laughing constantly. It's awesome.
It's got personality. Lots of stock sound effects, but you can't really blame him for that one.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman reference kind of threw me off.
Oh, was there a Batman reference?
Holy Freud, Batman. I think you're right. Yeah. Oh. I can't remember which character said it, but it was like, what? Some weird dialogue.
Oh, yeah. I did not like when they're like, I'm stretched thin, so that's why I'm stretchy. And you...
Oh, yeah.
What are the other ones? You're like a rock.
You're scared and want to disappear because you're shy.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
I hated that. That was really annoying.
I like how she just, without even taking their measurements, just sewed together these costumes for them. Just like a perfect fit. Just shows back up like, hey, I made your costumes. Like, okay, cool.
Can we talk about Sue Storm as a female character in these movies? Because I don't know. I feel like she might be the best represented in this film.
Actually, now you say that, Probably.
Yeah.
Outside of the creepy stuff early on where she's doing the goo goo eyes and she's like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. She's kind of the most like ignored. I feel like the heart of all of these, whenever they get anything right, it's to do with either The Thing or Johnny Storm. They just don't seem to know what to do with Reed Richards and Susan Storm for the most part.
Yeah.
I'd put them in together, kind of, actually.
Yeah, they definitely need better writing.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
What are they gonna do?
They need some like dynamic, like that makes them interesting. Because like the stretching thing is like it's such a gimmick. Like, what are you gonna do with that? You know? Yeah, they make the illusions of the I feel invisible type stuff with Susan. That's one thing they do, and I guess she can make like force fields, but like they don't do anything cool in any of these movies with the force fields or whatever.
Oh yeah, her fight scenes in this movie are so fucking funny because every single time it's just they run into each other. Like she'll stand in a spot and then turn invisible, and they think that, oh, she's still there, and then they run into each other. And then on a separate occasion, they shoot each other, the exact same scenario, right? Like, it's never her force that incapacitates someone else. It's their own force, which is just a funny, like, okay, 90s, she's a woman, sort of, what is she going to do? Trip him like the other guy? No.
Right.
They've got to run into each other or shoot each other. All right.
I found it kind of weird how, like, once they decided they were going into space and they were like, remember those children? Like, let's go get them. They know more than anybody about this space mission. And they just kind of glossed over, like, what that meant or why. And they just go and, like, they haven't seen them in 10 years. Yeah. And they're like, come to space with us because you know so much about this mission, right?
That was very odd. Yeah, but I do like how most of these movies, they like name them Fantastic Four in some stupid way after the fact, but this one just got it right ahead of the thing where
before they had powers.
Like, you guys are the Fantastic Four. I'm like, really? Okay. I mean, there are 4 people standing together.
Yeah. Okay, Mom. Bye. Like, you gonna say that every time I have friends? Like, making it awkward.
Yeah.
I like how Sue was the only one that actually had to dress up for the wedding. Everybody else stayed in their super costume.
Yeah.
The Thing was shirtless, but Sue had to wear the whole gown and everything.
Why is the Thing always shirtless? Why does the Thing?
Because what do you do?
He was wearing pants. Why not wear a shirt too?
Because then you can't tell he's made of rocks.
Yeah, he's not like transforming like the Hulk. Yeah, just tailor him a big ass shirt or a poncho or something.
You have to see the Rock, otherwise you forget that he's Rock all the way.
Yeah, probably like half that budget went to the Rock suit.
I mean, his face is Rock. I think I would remember he's Rock.
No, but you have to see that his muscles are Rock. That's important. Because that makes him strong.
I like when he goes out on the street and he's like all upset and everyone's like, you're like hideous and like the women are scared of him and everything. Like that was
That was great.
That was a good sequence.
I would watch that movie again today. Like if somebody was curious about it and wanted to see it, I'd be like, I've got something great to show you.
So
like, I'd watch this again for sure.
How do you guys rate something like this? Because I'm like,
10.
This is not good. Okay. All right. 10.
Yeah, easy. It's I don't know. So I wouldn't quite go that far, but I did enjoy it, and having all that context behind it with the documentary and reading about it and seeing the passion shine through, you can sort of feel that. And that's what I mean about it being sort of the inverse of the 2015 version with this like woof. So yeah, I guess if you want to do ratings, like I'd probably settle around a 2.5 star with a like. It's probably the highest any of these is going to get from me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go around 2 stars, 2 out of 10, because I mean it is fun, but maybe it's also the last one that I watched, and I was just kind of like, I can't anymore with concept. And
yeah, no, I'm there with you. I'm very Fantastic Four'd out.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you watched this one last?
Yeah, I watched it last too.
Oh, what the heck, guys?
Yeah.
I watched it in a weird order though. I watched 2015, then 2005, 2007, then 94.
What the hell?
This was the only one I hadn't seen before.
Okay.
So I'm quite familiar with the other ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched this one first. But it was also the only one I hadn't seen before, I guess.
I hadn't seen 2015 and this one, so they were both new to me.
Oh.
Yeah, I give this a 10. I think it's fun to have this as like the highest rated Marvel film on my end, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. So
good.
No, yeah, it deserves the spot more than any other one, really.
I don't know about that.
I thought you loved Thunderbolts.
Still haven't seen it.
You loved it though.
But I loved it. I did love it. Yeah, just I guess right before we wrap up this this film conversation, I just wanted to point out, fucking Dr. Doom had a lot of Slay Queen energy. You know, Happy Pride Month. He was sassy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he was
I
awesome.
was like, you go, MF Doom. Rap snitch knishes.
You've got to point out the best Pride Month representation moment for each of these films as we go through, Adam.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, one more thing. The Human Torch not only reminded me of a screensaver, like you mentioned, he reminded me of somewhere between like Lawnmower Man effects and like a Robax commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody remember those? Were those only on Canadian television? I don't know. But
what? Robax?
I don't know what that is.
What are you saying?
I think it was called Robax. There were like these back pain medication commercials. They had
Robax Platinum.
If I search it on, he's just this like wooden CG character.
Oh, he's creepy.
Yeah, maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
All right, perfect. Next up, that was the Fantastic Four. Now we're doing Fantastic Four.
Four spelled out.
2005. Yeah.
Directed by Tim Story.
Well, what's Tim's story?
Sounds like one of those fake director names. You know, when you don't want to have like credit. Yeah, I'm the story guy.
It's how he gets the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know? This guy knows stories. It's in his name. Guarantee someone said that when having a business conversation, right?
It's like Mark Webb directing Spider-Man. Yeah.
Guaranteed somebody said stories in his name. Yeah, they gave fucking Mark Webb Spider-Man. They should have given John Watts the Electro one, though. Instead, he directed the other one. Anyway, what do you guys think? Was it worth it?
Go ahead, Alex.
It's simultaneously better and worse than I remember. In the kind of context of the superhero movies, its contemporaries at the time, we said like Spider-Man 2, the Raimi films, X-Men 2, that kind of stuff. It's obviously a lot worse than those, but it's aged better as far as like some of those like grimdark superhero movies that kind of followed it. So it sits in a weird, awkward space where it's like, oh, I kind of like some of this. Again, as I was getting at with The Thing, I do like Michael Chiklis as The Thing. I think that's like really good casting, and he was clearly really into it, and all of the best stuff in the movie
I agree.
is based around him. I don't know if it's really $100 million looking movie. There's a couple of good action scenes, I guess. The bridge scene is decent. And again, it's all around like The Thing and what they do with him.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, it's decent in the sense where you can tell that they spent money on it, you know, like, oh, I can see why this movie's expensive sort of thing, but
it was okay. I quite like the shot of the like truck like slamming into The Thing, and I just kept thinking about the Raimi movie though. It felt like the bridge scene in the first movie is like so much better than this with the Goblin and everything going on there. And yeah, the fact this was released a year after The Incredibles also is like, man, it doesn't really do one single thing better than that movie, which is like the best possible Fantastic Four movie, basically. There's loads of age CG. The stretching is just creepy. It's not as creepy as we get to at certain parts, but again, it's just feeding into this. How do you do this character on the screen? Because Stretchy Man and Jessica Alba, they're just definitely the weakest parts.
Zero chemistry.
Yeah, zero chemistry. But
True.
But yeah, at least The Thing and Johnny Storm, they have like these character attributes that make them somewhat compelling. You know, that you could do like a mood board and like write down. Yeah, Johnny Storm, he's like headstrong and he's a dick and a womanizer. And The Thing, he's like, you know, he's heartbroken and he's has all these things about him. But like Reed Richards and Sue Storm, they got like nothing going on. It's like, I'm a scientist man and I'm a scientist woman. The end. They're like really boring characters to watch and just have nothing going on.
Which is crazy because they're supposed to be like the main two is like the implication, you know, in terms of like who the story's centered around. I consider them to be like the main characters, but they're just so fucking forgettable.
Yeah, a lot of what happens is their fault. Like, are they anyone's favorite out of the four in Doom?
Depends on who you ask, I guess. Yeah. The people like Jessica Alba. She was the. She was supposed. She was. Yeah.
She was horrible. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
she's terrible. Yeah.
I loved this movie as a kid. I watched this so many times when I was little, really? Thinking it was like the coolest thing ever. But now watching, it's been a long time since I've seen it, and now I'm like, damn, she really is like not bringing anything. And her character isn't, but also her performance.
Yeah,
it's also she is kind of relegated to like love interest, and it's like a very high school like love triangle situation where she has very little agency there. It's just super annoying. You know, they make sure to strip her down to her underwear
many times. Many times she's naked for like 3 times in like 10 minutes, like in a fucking montage. They were like, oh, let's add what if she gets walked in on in the shower into the montage. That had nothing to do with anything. Ooh, don't come in.
I know. They apparently wrote that stuff in once Jessica Alba was cast. They like added that in to the script, so gives you some idea to the motive of their character.
So like I have a difficult time imagining this because I'm fucking weird and what I'm attracted to is not Jessica Alba. But if I'm trying to imagine a scenario here where like, okay, if I considered that to be peak number one attraction, right? I still wouldn't want to see that because I would still respect what I'm attracted to, like as a human being. Like, why would I want to see scenarios where it just feels like all agency is stripped from the human being and that they're acting like a child and like, ooh, I'm just a little dumb baby brain. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm so helpless. Like, that just seems like so unattractive. Like, that seems like a boner killer. Can anybody explain this to me? Why is this a thing?
I guess it's like just purely visual, like, and it just begins and ends there.
How do you explain the straight male mind?
Yeah,
I'm asking for help.
Yeah, I did remember that element of it because I was 11 when this film came out, and I guess I was more like, they kind of equally sexualize Chris Evans, like he's kind of always shirtless too.
Oh yes, that's definitely an argument. But at least his character feels like he's doing it, like he has agency and it's not constantly being stripped away from him and he's an idiot. It's because he's trying to show off, right? Like, ooh, I'm cool. Versus like, oh, why do I have to get naked all the time? God, why does this always happen to me? Oh, this, you know, like things are always happening to her for that situation, whereas he's the one doing it.
This level of weird horniness reminded me a lot of the Scooby-Doo movies.
Were those horny?
Like,
I haven't seen those in a while.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're insanely horny, dude.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what was going on in 2005, like around this time period, but it's like kids movies, like family movies. It's like you got to have the horny scenes where there's like some woman in her underwear, or some, you know. It's just really, I don't know what it was. What was in the air? Was it Iraq? I don't know.
No, it's funny you say that because
this is when gamers were on top.
No, I was thinking the exact same thing, more so with the Rise of the Silver Surfer, where like they start like swapping powers type thing, because that happens in that Scooby-Doo movie where they're like changing bodies and stuff.
True,
like,
true. Yeah.
Similar kind of energy, yeah.
I don't know. I think, look, I'll say this in defense of this movie because, like, yeah, it has really aged not great. There's like bad performances. The characters don't always work. But there are some really good, solid stuff in this movie. First off, I think the pacing is great. It really moves. Like, you get through the main concept right away. Boom, boom, boom. Everything's laid out. It's very like classic doing a superhero movie in 2005. Like, very reminiscent of Spider-Man and everything, but it's like, it's competent. Like, they're making a movie. They went in, they had a script. It wasn't insanely out of budget. Like, they're shooting a million extended scenes. I imagine that probably didn't happen because it feels like they had a plan and they executed it. Like, I don't know. It felt very like, damn, you guys made a movie. This is what a movie was back then. That was for kids, for superhero stuff, you know?
The level of expectations for a movie with this budget in this time period was met. That's what I'll say about it. They met expectations for what this should be, given the money and given the time period. Still, kind of wish the acting was a bit better than a fucking FMV game, you know?
The dynamic between Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis is fantastic. Chris Evans is the highlight of the movie. I mean, he's like genuinely fun, like he's having fun on screen. He's like bringing energy and comedy to these moments that really need it. I really love that moment when they come back from the space station and we're in Ben Grimm's POV.
I know you're going to say
like, that's just a great joke when he wakes up and Chris Evans is like, oh, you're hideous, you know, whatever. It's really bad. And he looks and it's nothing, you know, like, that was a good fake out. I like that. Like, those little funny moments, they're there. I don't know. That was nice.
That's probably the best sort of shot/gag in the movie. But I lean more towards Ben Grimm Chiklis being like the heart of what makes this work. He's like the only level of sympathy, really, out of the main four. I guess you get a little bit through Doom.
He's probably the best.
But yeah, that shot of him trying to pick the wedding ring up or whatever, there's something tragic and sad about that.
Oh, no, yeah.
I dig that.
Here's the thing about his story, and this isn't something I ever would have thought about as a kid, but like, the idea of you're married to someone, they've gone on a dangerous mission in space, they've come back, they're alive, you know, they're not dead, they look completely different. Your immediate response, horror and screaming, and you aren't married anymore. Like, what was going? Oh yeah, that relationship was fucked from the beginning. Like, what?
Yeah, dodged a bullet, bro.
Maybe you dodged a bullet. Exactly. Yeah.
Damn.
You don't want to be the way that scene was shot too, where Laurie Holden comes out of the flat in like the middle of the night, like in that tiny nightie. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Starts screaming like he's some kind of creep. Like, he's been in space. He could have died.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Also, out of the three films, this is definitely the most fuckable thing designed, just FYI. I find it funny that in the comic books, like canonically, each of these films, they have to match this. The idea that the only person that could ever love him would have to be blind. Like, that's very important to be replicated in all three of these films. Like, no, she's a character in the comics. And that was the idea that whoever wrote the comics had, is like, whoever loves this man must be blind. Like, okay. Whereas, like, I feel like if you made a modern version of this, he would just go on the internet and find thousands of people who would be like, I'm actually into this.
Yeah, there would be... You'd probably be like, find more success as a rock man.
Yeah, honestly.
Especially since they're so famous. Like, these two movies really are, like, they deal with the idea of fame and, like, being a celebrity and all the media a lot. It's kind of interesting. I don't know why they went with that angle, but it's like a running theme here.
How'd you like the soundtrack?
I don't remember a single note.
The licensed music, I mean, like the fucking...
Oh, right, yeah. It was
rock.
Extremely 2005. Yeah. The most 2005 thing ever.
That was nostalgic. Very obnoxious, though.
What's funny is that like that thing of like having that music in there is completely gone by the time they're making the sequel. You know, they don't have the fun song at the end of the movie and the sequel. It's like, okay, we're done with this. We know we're not doing that thing anymore.
It's a new year. It's a new era.
Because it's weird to think like the era of these two movies when they were made, like it's right after like Raimi's Spider-Man and the phenomenon there. Yeah, like you were saying, The Incredibles. But then by the time the second one comes out, it's right before Iron Man and The Dark Knight happens in 2008.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective to keep in mind, actually. Yeah.
Like, that's such a huge shift right there. And this was one of the last ones before things change completely for how we think about these superhero movies.
That's absolutely true. It seems so far away when if you were to just show those movies side by side, they seem like a decade apart, at least.
I know. That's
crazy to think of it, actually.
Yeah, well, Dark Knight was 1 year after Silver Surfer, which is crazy.
Yeah. And Iron Man. Yeah.
So there's different variations between these films in terms of like how their powers work. Notably with Susan, because some films are like, well, all of her clothes disappear, and like, you know, whatever she's touching, I guess, But this one, her earrings don't disappear.
You see them,
and like there was something in her hair too, which kind of is funny when you see it in action, because then that kind of implies that she's not caked with makeup every scene. Because otherwise you'd just see like a clown face, You'd literally just see floating makeup, like one of those like opera masks, which I think would be hilarious. I like how she puts on a fuck ton of makeup right as she's like getting out of the shower and going to bed. Like,
really?
What are you doing?
I don't remember that.
A full beat, yeah.
No, she's caked with makeup like as she's fresh out of the shower.
Yeah, so many things do that, yeah. If you're paying attention, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I really like the guy who played Doom in this, to be honest. I thought he had like a little more gravitas than the others. He was kind of playing it up a little bit. I don't know what his name is, but he was definitely trying to go for like a Norman Osborn type of thing. Or at least the writers were, with him, like the angle being more on him being the CEO and his company dying and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't mind him. It's just more how he looks as Doom. Like once he actually has the like armor on him and everything, he looks goofy in a way that's just kind of like lame.
Oh yeah, now I remember.
Not much cool about him. But I agree with you as far as like the casting.
He was trying to do like a Kevin Spacey thing too.
Yeah, true.
Maybe.
He had light screen presence. I feel like that most of the main cast, I guess Jessica Alba aside, they kind of understand the tone of what they're in and what they're going for. It's really not taking itself too seriously. It is kind of breezy for the most part and inoffensive. I find it, it's entertaining enough. But I remember the fervor around the time this came out. Like people were mad because I guess the expectation was more for like a Sam Raimi type level to bring these characters. But there is just, I don't know, there's just, Spider-Man just has such an advantage. I feel like in translation, he's inherently sympathetic.
Yeah.
His powers really just, they match well with cinema and what you can do with the action of a character that swings around. Like, it's just so much more you can do than with what these characters are restricted to. And all the kind of like space stuff you have to include and all of this exposition and all these scientist characters, and it just gets like quite convoluted quite quick. And it's just inherently so silly. So you have to lean into that somewhat. And the best parts are when it does, kind of. Yeah.
Another thing to keep in mind is that, people were mad when the first Spider-Man movie came out, too. Like, the conversation was like, he doesn't have webs coming out of his arms, actually. He builds them in a lab. Where it's like, this is just, Sam Raimi has a different interpretation of it. One stands the test of time, one doesn't. And it's cool to have something where it's like, oh, this is they decided that was appropriate for the universe, but it's still a great film. You have to take artistic liberties to translate things, especially if you yourself have a vision, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's basically just the rule that if you release a superhero movie, people are going to get mad about something and kind of make a big stink about it, whether or not it's a good movie.
Yeah, and it's more like how much of a vocal minority it is or not, where I feel like the people genuinely upset about the organic web shooters in Spider-Man was a lot smaller than people who just were upset with the overall vibe of this movie in the 2007 one. Well, it made a fair amount of money. $100 million budget, wound up making $300 million. Not the best, not the worst, I guess. Enough to encourage a sequel, but definitely not like Spider-Man numbers, which they're probably, or X-Men numbers that they're probably going for.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a sequel, and from what I remember, like at the time, people, I don't know if people hated the film. It was just they went inside and got like a superhero thing, and were, not crazy about it, but kids liked it.
The expectations were different, before, Marvel really kicked off, the MCU really kicked off. So,
I like the scene in this movie where they're trying to figure out their powers and stuff, like scientifically. They're kind of like all one at a time, and they're basically telling Sue, like, we've scientifically determined that you could control your invisibility better if you weren't so goddamn emotional all the time. That was funny.
True, they do basically say that.
They literally say that. They're like, why are you so emotional? You'd have better invisibility. You actually be a lot better at it if you just weren't so emotional all the time.
Very much 2005.
Yes. Love the time capsule. A lot of this movie was filmed in front of a billboard ad space, so they were able to probably pay for half the film.
It gets really egregious
with that.
It gets crazy in the second movie. It gets so much worse in the second movie.
It gets even worse. Yeah, the fight scene in front of like the Burger King product placement that he gets like smacked into a big sign. Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of fun little moments in here. Like when she's taking his temperature, right? Like I like when they all discover their powers, when they're at like Von Doom's place or whatever. I like when the nurse is taking his temperature and it's like 206 or something right before he goes.
And she just lets him leave.
Yeah.
Goes on a date with him.
Like clearly he's experiencing some sort of like near-death delirium, right? Like he's like, no, I'm fine. Let me get out of here. I'm going to, don't let him leave. What kind of fucking medical practitioner are you? Registered as 200. He's going to die. He's literally dead.
She went on a date with him immediately after. They went skiing.
Oh, yeah. He made his own fucking hot tub.
Yeah, it's hard to take seriously. There's like no plot really. I mean, very little actually happens. I feel like it does kind of peak with that bridge action scene. The final fight with Doom is the setup's kind of funny, where he's like freezing Mr. Fantastic in that chair. That's very funny to me. And when he's like molten, that looked decent when Doom was like molten.
How great is it?
The rest of the action isn't that good.
I mean, how great is it when Ben Grimm finally becomes like no longer the Thing and he's just normal again? 2 minutes later, he's like, no, I should just be the Thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'd be kind of annoyed if I was Reed Richards. I'm like, you've been nagging me for the past fucking 6 months to cure you, and now you're just like, never mind. Actually, I'm cool with it.
I guess that's where the kind of tonal issues, I don't know, it feels like Ben Grimm should be the main character, really. Like, it's just so much more interesting than everyone else going on. But yeah, that huge change just like it happens off screen and is wrapped up in a matter of minutes. So it doesn't really have much of a punch or anything. It's oftentimes just kind of reduced to a quick gag or something. It doesn't really have much punch by the end of it.
When I saw this movie, I must have been like 14 years old. And the only thing I remembered about it for so long was that I was pissed off when they get their powers and like the Thing, his bed breaks and all, like I was just hyper obsessing over like where did the fucking mask come from? Like whatever was in his body before, even if it changed into something, like you can't just magically appear to have like way more. Like the energy has to come from somewhere. The mass has to come from somewhere. And I was pissed off when I was younger, and that's the only thing I remembered about this movie. And so I was just waiting.
Thinking
for that
a lot
moment.
Deeper than the filmmakers on that part.
I mean, I don't think they would care if they knew. I don't think that's on their list of things to be accurate about.
No.
But yeah, that did piss me off when I was 14 or whatever.
You know what pissed me off is Reed Richards putting his creepy little stretchy hand under the door to go unlock it.
That was creepy. What about when he stretches his face to be like do the Chad meme? It's like crazy looking.
This was like I don't know what the actor, this guy, like I think he does Reed Richards fine, like he kind of captures the energy, but it's like something so off-putting about the way they portray his powers in these movies. It's like, could you make it any like less weird? Like even when it's like being shown to be like useful, like in that montage, they show him like stretching and grabbing paper towels, or not paper, toilet paper, because he's taking a shit. And it's like everything connected to his powers is like,
yeah, like what emotion is like attached to it. It's not really awe. It is mostly just like freaky. Even in that last battle scene where it's like them all working together, he like morphs himself into a funnel for like water to shoot in a different direction. It's like, I guess, cool. It's not really a clap-worthy moment, as opposed to the obvious on its face. Oh, that's cool. You can turn into fire and fly around. That's just neat, I guess. Like everyone would want to be able to do that. Yeah, I guess it is mostly just horror comedy with him. Mm-hmm. Like let alone when he's dancing. But yeah, it mostly just boils down to it's funny. Oh, I'm getting the wobbly knees, but it's literal. And my
dancing is in the next film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the next one. If Sam Raimi had his hand in this, it would be 10 times as horrifying and weird with the stretching.
It would just be better. I love Sam Raimi.
Well, of course. Yeah, it'd be so much better. I mean, that's the thing. Like with Spider-Man and Sam Raimi, like he understood like Peter Parker, treat him like an underdog, like he's a loser. He needs, that's what's great about him. The Fantastic Four as characters in this movie, they're like rich scientists who are adults and they have their, it's like, they're just boring. They're boring as characters.
And I don't believe that they do they try to also. Like you never feel like
exactly.
They do.
But like Sam Raimi, he seems to care about them more as characters on like a humanistic kind of level. Like he humanizes like Sandman, for God's sake, he's able to find like angles for it. Whereas what do Reed Richards and Sue Storm, like what are their flaws? What are they? Like, what is it about them that is supposed to be fun or intriguing to watch? It's like
Reed Richards is too shy. He doesn't take control and ask her out. And Sue Storm, he needs to take command and ask her out and be a man.
He's thinking all the time.
Sue's just too emotional.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it.
We mentioned just how annoying it is that they keep making her get naked for no reason. But I wrote down in my notes just how little sense it made, like how little they cared about even justifying it. Like when they're on the bridge, like why did you have to go invisible to get around the crowd? And then she gets around on the other side of the crowd, and then the other two guys are there, so they just got through without being invisible. So why did you have to get invisible?
Because we need Jessica Alba naked.
That was the point. That was the whole point of the scene, was she gets naked.
Yeah, you start there and write backwards.
Yeah.
Like she has to be naked because she has to, because it's Jessica Alba. How we get there doesn't really matter.
I'm starting to realize that I think it's probably hotter for people the less agency she has, in kind of like a dom sub BDSM kind of way. Like I feel like the fact that she has no agency is probably giving more people a boner. That's okay. I figured it out.
Yeah, right. There's a good kind of gag about that in that movie Companion that came out.
I figured it out.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's an element there, but I don't know. Of course, I saw this at a young, impressionable age, and I was just delighted with the images I was seeing on screen. I'll just put it that way. And I wasn't. I don't think I was thinking about it much more than that.
Yeah, I think that's literally as you're like overthinking it almost. It's like Megan Fox and Transformers tier.
I just want to understand. It's porn for children.
And this is just, it was so much more prevalent back then. This kind of crap is just like, okay, any situation where we can get the woman in underwear or any
yeah, straight up. It is, Megan
like,
Fox over the motorbike in Transformers 1 or 2 or whatever, like it's the same thing.
Yeah, why hire Jessica Alba?
Yeah, I'm sure the studio people are like, we have this actress in this movie, so we need a little more cleavage in this. Let's get the costumes this way. Like they're definitely making that happen. It's just such a different perspective now.
All right. One last thing to mention before we wrap this up. There's 3 Wilhelm screams in this film within like 20 minutes. There's 3 fucking Wilhelm screams.
Nice.
I only noticed 1, I think.
No, yeah, there were 2 in the fight scene, and then there was a secret hidden one near the end of the film, right as the Human Torch goes past the camera, like after he makes the 4 in the sky, then he zooms past the camera, and it's like low in the mix in the background, but they snuck in a third. It's really weird.
That's weird.
3 fucking Wilhelms.
Wow, okay.
Showed they really cared.
I don't know what was burning in the sky, but is the sky on fire? Like he's far away from it.
Apparently it is, because the way he draws the 4, it's like the flames are hanging in air.
Yeah. Like what is he is he combusting something? Like the oxygen?
Yeah, that
the atmosphere is on fire? Like
does he have a tail? I don't know.
I don't know what's going on. I give this a fantastic 4 out of 10.
Nice.
A low 4.
Yeah. I'm pretty much the same with that. 2-star out of 5, 4 out of 10. It's pretty inoffensive, has some cute moments, but overall is pretty forgettable in the tapestry of these kind of films that we have been given over the past couple decades.
I'm sure I'll watch it again at some point in my life. I mean, because of how much I watched it when I was a kid, I have to also compared to some of the Marvel stuff that's been coming out recently, it's like, yeah, this is a movie. Like this is they made a movie. That's good. It's fine. So I give it a 6 out of 10. It's serviceable, and in my nostalgia, it is enjoyable still for me.
Yeah, so. It's got some energy, some corny zooms and cartoonish kind of framing. It was kind of knew what it was, at least.
Yeah.
Not very well directed. All right. Fantastic. Well, originally the title of the next one was just 4, The Silver Surfer.
Really?
Yeah, they tried to they tried to see if they could
4.
Not even include the word fantastic. You can see on IMDb they include the original title 4: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah. That's weird.
Well, that's how it shows in the credits. The opening credits is just 4.
Yeah.
Why?
They thought it was ubiquitous enough. You show the number 4, you think Fantastic Four.
I thought that would be in Don Draper, smart. Yeah, we're redesigning this. We're simplifying this for a new age.
Yeah.
Wow, that's lame.
Yeah, basically, we're doing it again, but this time with Pepsi Man. And
yeah, major sequelitis. Oh my god.
This is if the classic sequelitis situation here. This is so sequel. Everything about this is just no one wants to be here type of sequel energy. Mm-hmm. Let's just do the same thing again.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff I was saying about Ben Grimm or Michael Chiklis being the heart of the movie and there being something to explore there. I guess they did it in the first movie, and now there's nothing is the replacement. A silver naked man flying around. That's, I guess, the new intrigue. They're just not interested in the characters anymore. It kind of just turns into pure gimmicks, and the gimmicks are there in that first movie, but it's just that on steroids. It is the gimmick now is the power swapping, and isn't that crazy? Now you get to see Johnny Storm look like the Thing. Isn't that wild?
Literally the first thing they did with the power swapping was get Jessica Alba naked again. Literally the first thing they did.
Uh-huh.
They got Chris Evans naked too. In that scene.
She didn't want to be. Chris Evans wanted.
Can I say this? It was genuinely so frustrating and sad watching what they did to her character in this movie. It was bad in the first movie. She was barely a sketch of a person. But in this one, the whole time she's just nagging them about the saving the world. Oh, my wedding is more important. It's just what? I thought she was a scientist as well and is part of the team, but they act oh, my boring frickin' fiance doesn't want me to save the world. I have to behind her back because she just cares about her wedding. It was so fucked up. It was just so annoying to me.
This one was the worst one for me.
Of all of them?
Yeah, out of all.
Really?
Of them. Yeah.
Wow.
This one was the only one that I would consider to be a success for your Spite recommendation. So you got me.
Okay.
But
so a partial 1 out of 4, a quarter win.
Yeah. But we made up for it by getting to talk about other fun stuff.
They spent $30 million more, but made $30 million less than the first one. So it's like a complete wash, pretty much.
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't make a sequel after this one, despite the after credit scene with Silver Man opening his eyes. They love doing that, zooming in on the closed eyes and then them opening. I guess that's like the only positive I could give it, is that I did like the choice of when they get rid of the Silver Surfer's board. They actually have like an actor, Doug Jones, on set and like an outfit. I thought that looked pretty good actually. And even some of the CG was interesting and good. And the casting of Lawrence Fishburne as the voice, I thought also was good. And in a better movie would be good casting for that character. He's got like he has the right voice for it. It's just when he's paired up with this version of Galactus, which has just been memed to death, I guess, that he's a big smoke monster. There's nothing really imposing or scary about it. And it's just boring and like uninteresting. Like this smoke cloud is the big villain.
Yeah, it's the most boringest thing. Like it's terribly boring. I wanted to point out, since you mentioned when he's in the forest and loses the board and it's an actor, right? That reminded me very hard of Under the Skin, just because he like turned black and I was thinking Under the Skin the entire time.
Yeah, you're right.
I was like, damn, somebody got
which also looked
inspired
great.
here.
Great double feature.
It's basically the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, it's so lazy that it has, they introduce a character like Silver Surfer, so it's like, oh, great. Now you got these two characters in the main cast that can fly, and they're flying around, so you could do something with an action scene, right? No. Like, what's the standout action scene from this movie? Like, the one in London where the Thames gets drained? That just felt like a half-assed version of the bridge scene from the 2005 one. Like, it was... Yeah, just copy and paste.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they bring back Victor Von Doom for no fucking reason, except so that they have someone to fight at the end, because they can't fight a big cloud.
Yeah.
So they fight Doom.
They put him on the board, he's surfing around.
Yeah.
I feel like I forget 99.9% of this entire movie, and I watched it like a couple days ago. Like, I literally the entire thing is just like in and out, just completely gone.
No, yeah. I've seen this movie multiple times over the years, and it felt like I was watching it brand new almost this last time, because it's just so forgettable. Yeah,
there's nothing intriguing. You know, there's nothing to attach to in any kind of sense. The pacing is so fucking whack. Like, 25 minutes through the film was my first note. and it was me pointing out no conflict. Nothing was happening. The Silver Surfer hadn't shown up yet.
Yeah, it leans way harder into the humor, or attempts at humor. You know, with the comedy angle, with like the Thing doing big burps and this is Dolce, and like all the what do you have against capitalism angle, where he's like Johnny Storm's getting all the sponsorships and putting on the suit. Right. So isn't this funny? Isn't this like amazing and funny?
Well, because they nerf his character. Like they're trying to make him serious and give him a serious character arc of, I need to take things seriously now because I'm serious and this is important. Like in the first movie, what was fun about him was like his childishness and like him messing with Ben. And in this one, it's like he has to be serious and be like, it was just boring. It was like, we already have the serious guy. Like, just be fun.
Oh, they, now you say that, actually, they did give Jessica Alba way more to work with the now she has a droplet of blood come out of her nose when she really overextends her powers, you know? That's a lot to work with. That old chestnut. Where did that start? Like, what started that cliche?
I don't know.
Everything does that, right? It's like...
Yeah, when you time travel too much.
Yeah, the overextended...
Was it The Incredibles?
Was it The Incredibles?
No way that started with The Incredibles.
No, it must have been before then.
X-Men?
It's like Stranger Things does it.
I would say at least the 80s.
Yeah, someone in the comments let us know.
Yeah, there's probably a TV Tropes page for that, actually. someone could find the first known instance. I also kind of want to. I have a similar question because I think in more than one of these Fantastic Four movies, they have Doctor Doom doing the whole like, I will strangle my henchman, and all I'm thinking is like, okay, this is like the Darth Vader scene, basically. What's the first instance of that exact scene? Because that scene's been copied a bunch. I want to know if Star Wars did it first, or
the villain killing his own minions. Yeah.
Yeah, like whether it's particularly in that exact way or not. But yeah, the strangulation makes it really clear what they watched.
Oh, I forgot to mention this for the last movie, but the guy who plays Von Doom's assistant is the guy who plays the priest in Midnight Mass.
Oh, very nice.
I forget his name, but I was like, where do I recognize that face? It's such like a great face. Like, what is he doing in this movie? And I'm like, oh shit, he's at Midnight Mass, priest. Anyways, just thought I'd point that out.
Chris Evans is also Captain America.
Shut up.
Yeah. Which is apparently like partially because of these movies why he was chosen, at least in part, for Captain America, because then we're talking about all these studios fighting for rights and whatnot. It meant that they couldn't use him again because he's snapped up by Marvel Studios. Yeah. All the bureaucracy is just crazy. It's all like just circled back in on itself now, so I guess Disney's got it all, baby. Except the Hulk, I think.
Do we have to mention Deadpool and Wolverine in this conversation?
Why? Because
Chris Evans as Johnny Storm shows up in that movie very significantly.
That's kind of funny.
He's there as his character, and he shows up and he's like wearing some kind of cloak or something, and you think that he's Captain America, and then he says "Flame on" and he flies around, and it's like, oh,
that's right. I've seen that movie and I can actually remember that happening.
That's great. But everybody said it was so good.
He gets murdered. It's kind of funny.
Good.
Yeah. No, it was a good part in that movie.
I'm just going to throw this out. I think we're going to have a more substantive and interesting conversation with the next film after this. This is just a rehash of the one we just fucking talked about. I don't know how much different about this film. Like, I would like this one to be a short conversation to make room for the next more interesting conversation, because we do have like a hard out in like an hour or whatever.
I think we should make you talk about it solo for the next 10 minutes as punishment.
Yeah, this is the one you enjoyed least. So you should have to talk about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the punishment was making me watch it, not the conversation. The conversation, if you want to punish the audience, then you can make me do that, but just ramble for about nothing for 10 minutes. Just be like, wow, it was uninteresting. I would say it's criminally uninteresting. I think the people who made this should be in jail.
Yeah. It's so it loses that sincerity of that first movie. It's it's so unserious that towards the end they actually have the like record stop sound effect like in the wedding scene. It's like this tone isn't right. Like anything you got right in that 2005 one, it's like none of that is left here. There's no cool action. It's just like a CG goop finale, like worse than Saturday morning cartoon writing. All the like flying around Great Wall of China stuff and this like machine thing that like breaks into 3 parts. It's so lame.
I would say that it would be tougher for me to think of a worse example of a film, a better example of a film that like I don't know if I could even call art. It's stretching the definition. I'm trying to find like artistic qualities to this, in the sense that the entire reason for it being made and every single molecule of this film's existence is literally just we're making a sequel. Right? I hate The Lion King 2019 more, but like you can almost believe John sometimes when he's talking about like what he was trying to do, or like I wanted to make it like a documentary or whatever. Like, okay, this has no inspiration. This fucking movie is literally just the definition. If we were to call anything slop, this would be it. Like, there's nothing there
you missed
of any artistic quality.
You missed the complexity and commentary of the ironic pop art of the thing sipping a Slurpee.
Everybody sip the Slurpee.
I think we've said our piece.
All right. Cool. 2 out of 10 for me. This sucked. Yeah, this fucking sucked.
Yeah, 1 star.
Fuck it. Yeah.
Nothing to it.
I'll say 3 out of 10.
Wow, you loved it.
I loved it. Yeah. I mean, the thing is great. He smashes stuff. I like that. Silver. I like the silver guy. I like how he's silver. I think it's a nice texture.
I just like the tie-in video game Pepsi Man. I like that more. There was probably a Fantastic Four Silver Surfer video game, I wonder.
It was the era of the like cheap cash-in game.
Yeah, there was always fucking tie-in games for everything. Oh my god. PS3, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. All right. Fant Four Stick. I think they should have actually had that as the title. I think that because on the poster it is. But I think they should have committed to that. I think they should have had Don LaFontaine resurrect from the grave and say Fant Four Stick in the trailer. That would have been fun.
I wish that was the tone of this movie instead of the dour, overly serious mess that we got. Fant Four Stick is such a stretch. It hardly even looks like an A.
Oh, it doesn't at all.
Fant Stick. Fant Stick 4.
Like, look, I'm looking at the poster right now. It makes no sense.
It's a really bad poster too.
Yeah.
Faces look funny.
It's also other A's. Why don't you put the 4 with the first fan?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. See, I like this better than Silver Surfer. Because
it's so bad it's good?
But not because of the movie itself. There's a narrative behind the film that's way more interesting.
Yeah. There's a more interesting conversation, and part of that shows on the screen also.
Does it? Like when you're trying to figure out whose wig is like, is that a reshoot? Is that
oh yeah, that's fun. But also, I mean, like, conceptually, I like that it's trying to do something a little different, even though it didn't work. I like that Josh Trank was like, you know what we need to do here? We need to make a body horror, like, Fantastic Four movie. Like, there's some parts of it where I'm like, okay, you know, this is different. And I respect and appreciate it just for that.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhat. I just feel like what Josh Trank did with Chronicle, where it's taking like superhero tropes and making its own thing with it. That would have been the way to do it. Kind of like The Incredibles did, where it's like, look, this is our Fantastic Four. These are our characters and it's clearly inspired by this thing. But we made it better and we made it ours. It just doesn't work within this framing because it can't decide what it wants to be. And I guess Josh Trank did have some idea of what he wanted it to be, but the studio wouldn't let him do it. From what I read, is because it was like too violent, which is like, well, just from ground level, this is like screwed then.
Yeah.
He had a certain idea for this movie, you weren't ever going to let him make it, so then most of it's like scrapped and reshot. So then it's just this voiceless, has no real identity. Anything that could have been cool about it was never indulged in. So it's just this just plain nothing movie where like nothing happens. Like for the first half an hour where they're like building up the whole spaceship thing and the whole backstory of them as kids, like in doing the science fair stuff, it's like there's no real payoff or point to that at all. Like it doesn't feel like it enhances anything. It's so sort of random. The way it moves, the way things just like change and these awkward time jumps all over the place. It's a really, really messy, like pointless film.
Well, I mean, they had the kid stuff so that you could get a logical explanation for why someone would be saying the words, it's clobberin' time. That's what his brother said when he was beating him up.
Nice. Yeah. I'm glad I got that explained.
Now it's a logical...
That awesome payoff when he channels his brother.
You guys have been in this business of talking about bad movies for a while, and I think you guys were... I don't know if each of you have videos on this or not, but I know this was such a big deal when it came out. I just know it was a big deal when it came out, so you guys... I don't know really anything about the story behind this movie, except that it was a messy production and Josh Trank got in trouble for talking shit about the studio. Can you guys explain to me, please, what the fuck happened here? Like, what like actually happened? Because it is how did this happen?
So Josh Trank and the studio, what was it, Fox, had conflicting ideas on what they wanted the movie to be, and production had already started. And allegedly, he essentially just fucking bailed. Like, he would show up allegedly drunk on set and have his dogs, like, shit all over his trailer, and then just, like, you know, be barely functional, where everyone else is just trying to be like, okay, let's make the movie.
It was more than a trailer, I think. I think he had like multiple dogs in a huge house of sort of something that he'd rented, and then they wound up doing like $100,000 worth of damage, just the dogs. Somehow, whatever that means. Yeah, just like a night. He sounds like it was very difficult to work with, and I don't know. I can relate to the pain it must be of like trying to work within this studio system and you having these big ideas and clearly knowing that if you could just do what you wanted to do, then it would be a better movie. But like, I feel like that's almost part of working in the studio system, is like the politics and you being able to navigate it. Like sandbagging it the way he did has like ruined his whole career basically in Hollywood, the most part, and he probably won't be able to work at this
He's still making movies, but he would have a much better career if he didn't do that.
I think the only movie I checked his thing. It looked like the only movie he's made since then was the Al Capone movie, right? With
which was terrible.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah. So he definitely hurt his career and all the, I don't know. you would need, I feel like, the green light big time if you're coming with the, I'm going to make a Fantastic Four movie that's mostly inspired by Cronenberg body horror. You know, like that. Yeah, there's something there. Yeah, I admit there's something kind of interesting about that, but to go ahead the way it did, and I think again, this just cursed property, like that it needed to go into production quick, as Adam was saying, partially because they just needed to make a movie. Because it was a 10-year nearly gap between that last one, and they need to be pumping out these movies to maintain the rights so it doesn't go back to Marvel. So at a certain point, it's like it doesn't even matter like the quality of this movie. And that was one of the few pros actually, is how much this film pissed off Rupert Murdoch. He specifically expressed distaste for this movie, like solely blaming it for one of Fox's like fiscal quarter earnings. Wow. So I'll give it the thumbs up for that, because fuck that guy. But there's no focus.
It feels like it's not just a studio problem of like, oh, he had a vision and they were trying to mess up his vision. It really feels like, what the fuck was that vision? Why would you think Fantastic Four is the right thing to do like body horror with, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, well, we were saying that it is inherently like kind of scary, his fucking stretchy shit. I do think that there is something there. Like when he wakes up, he's like, his arms are too long, or like especially the reveal when he's like crawling away from and his legs are stuck, for him to look back and be like, oh, my legs are rubber. Like it's a
that
fun,
was horrifying.
Yeah, exactly. There is some genuine horror there. So I think like the ideas aren't absolutely worthless. They didn't work in this film for sure, but there is something there, and I can see material. What kind of like inspired him in a way. And I like that I can see something.
Maybe spite. Like it felt like he hates these characters.
I felt like he mishandled the characters. I don't feel like he hates the characters.
It just feels like, what Jake is saying, it's like, why you would have to just make something new, like inspired by it, clearly channeling this idea, but without literally using the branding of Fantastic Four. Because, we're saying that it's difficult anyway, and the early 2000s ones proved it, like how tough it is to translate this source material, and there needs to be something kind of campy, and how much of it you take serious is like a delicate balance. And this is just like putting the dial up to max and then some. And it just can't find an angle. It's like, it's got this Doom they get rid of the whole space element entirely. There's like dimension hopping now, and Josh Trank like originally wanted it to be part of the Chronicle universe, and that's why there's like crystals or whatever, and it's like
you can't do
it's
that.
Like, come on, no,
that's critical.
Yeah, so like Doom, this is like the worst Doom.
You should know right away you're not allowed to tie in your fucking own project to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh my god.
Because I wish like that was the angle that he'd gone, because like Chronicle was like, it was like $13 million and it made over $100 million. It was like a big success. And it's like, yeah, it's like a really cool movie.
It made like 3 people's careers.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you could have done that sort of thing again, and maybe if you wanted to do this universe thing of his own, like building up, why not do the Chronicle approach but with like Fantastic Four, but lean into like a more horror, like a low budget horror thing, and do like a 20 million horror superhero type thing. I feel like people would be there for that and intrigued by that. But yeah, as Jake was saying, wrong characters to do it with. It's just off-putting, and not in a way that I feel like assists anything. Like I don't really want to see the Thing like in pain, talking about how he's like used to the inherent pain of the rocks, like fused to him, and him screaming, "Please help me read," as he's like stretching through vents or whatever. It's too much. It's not right for these characters. It's like such a clash.
Also, like, you're going with this really, like, the way these actors are directed, like, it's very quiet. Like, they're trying to be really quiet and, like, barely emoting. Like, I feel like he was directing the kid actors the same way he was directing Miles Teller, of just, like, don't emote at all. Just say your lines without any expression. And it's, like, so off-putting, especially when you have an actor like Miles Teller, when you have Michael B. Jordan, 2 of, like, very charismatic, big, like, fun people to watch on screen because they're charismatic, and they you know, maybe they're not the best actors. I think Michael B. Jordan's a good actor, but they're fun to watch on screen. Why are you having them just stand there in this awkwardly staged, like, awkwardly directed scenes, just standing talking about science? Like, it's just so fucking a waste.
And it can't find the tone. It can't find the right angle to take it, because that first extremely dry half an hour where it's like building up the science or whatever, and there's no body horror or anything like that, or foreshadowing of how it's going to go in that direction. So it is just this really bland, like, trying to build up. It tries to do a bit of the kind of quirky, snappy Marvel dialogue a little bit, and it's just so like awkward, and like there's zero chemistry. Like it makes the 2005 one seem like that crew had like amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
It is just like dour and sad. It's like, yeah, I listen to Portishead and I'm serious, and like I see the patterns in people, and it's like, oh, holy fuck, this is so plain and dry.
That monologue about the music.
The fact that they even brought that back up again too. The fact that they brought that back. She was also listening to Portishead's like most popular track.
True. Poser alert. Normally or something.
Portishead is great. Everybody listen to Dummy. That's a great album.
Yeah, amazing album.
Nice. Well, you can really think about patterns mathematically if you listen to that album. So you'll get really good at pattern recognition.
It's trying to be like the quippy Marvel thing, but also, again, this understated, like, quiet drama. But, like, again, why are they trying to do that with Fantastic Four in the first place? Like, obviously, like... And then you look at how it's even from scene to scene, every scene, the way it's directed, it's so fucking boring and not dynamic at all. Like, it makes the 2005 Fantastic Four look like it was directed by Spielberg. Just the way the camera moves, the way the colors pop, the way things are staged in a way that makes sense, instead of, oh, we're just standing in this empty lab. And it's like, it's not dynamic. Like,
I don't know if I agree. Because I think like generally in terms of like how it's directed, I felt like there was a bit more of like something interesting happening here. I like that there were, you know, things like the time lapse shots. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting way to show this. I think that inherently, because of the fact that most of this takes place in just a lab, they're not using the space as well as they could. But I mean, in terms of, you know, how the camera moves in a scene, I didn't feel like it looked bad, really.
Really?
Well, I mean, during some of the CG shots, there were.
But what about all the stuff in the other dimension?
Yeah, the dimension. every shot there looked terrible. Yes.
Oh my God. Like everything shot in that other dimension like looks awful. Yeah. And the whole like last act and all of the action.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is horrendous.
In the non-CG shots, just like the regular shots, you know, things were nicely framed for the most part, not like expertly or anything, but it had a bit more personality.
Even like the action scene in the woods.
No, yeah, that had some CG in it. That was terrible. Because Rockman's CG, the thing is CG. He's the worst designed in this film.
Mm-hmm. And it was just boring. Like the guy playing him, there's nothing fun or interesting about any of the dynamics here. Like it's all fucked up. It's just empty and nothing at all.
It's that grim dark problem where if you're doing that, you need to kind of up the believability of the world you're creating. Because like the cartoonishness of the 2005 one just leaves you writing off certain things that like, okay, the tone is a certain way. It doesn't really matter. It's carefree and poppy, like whatever. But then you have like the crux of the movie is like these scientists from the Baxter Foundation are like at this high school fair, and that's where they get like Miles Teller, and they're doing this science thing next to this like 5-year-old with a toy car. It's like, what? This is like dumber. Like you've made this dumber than like the 60s Fantastic Four, like the way you're trying to channel this stuff.
It really is. Like, I don't know why they have to be so young, why we have to see them as kids, because they're trying to set up like the relationship dynamics, I think, between like Ben and Reed, but there's nothing there. And then they're in college and it's like they're still young. So also, why is Tim Heidecker there?
Oh yeah, that was such a
there's loads of weird like random actors that like Homer Simpson as well, as he's the teacher in that classroom. Loads of character actors show up.
I like how Tim Heidecker got like a proper title in the end credits before the scroll. He like name in the center his own title, Tim Heidecker. I'm like, oh,
he got $15,000 for that.
Nice.
Why go through the trouble of putting him in there if you aren't going to give him anything to do at all?
Yeah, I don't know why he was in there.
It's like more distracting.
Yeah. That was so funny.
But the cast really isn't the problem, I don't think. There is an alternate timeline where all these actors are playing similar characters, but it's written or presented differently, and they would all be fine for the roles.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's like necessarily that miscast. Like Toby Kebbell, he's like a good actor, but this version of Doom, he's always like looks like he's about to cry, and his eyes are glistening, and there's this whole like love triangle thing he's doing. He like loves Kate Mara or something, but that's never really indulged. But then by the time he falls into the goo, he just becomes like a megalomaniac and just kind of stops being a character. Yeah, and I mean, of course, like a lot of this was probably expanded on in the original idea that Josh Trank had, where I think he wanted it to be like 2 hours, 20 minutes long or something, and we wound up with an hour and 40-minute movie here that just like wraps itself up before anything even gets set up. Like there's no build up to that third act like climax.
There was no third act.
All the stuff in the trailer. There basically is none. Yeah. It's so strange the way it wraps up, because you'd think but then the like nerve to have the say that again scene like right after that, as if we've just had like an Avengers type like, wow, like a 40-minute action scene where all this stuff that's been laid down carefully throughout the movie is now being paid off. It's like, what? Like now you're trying to be like the goofy Fantastic Four right at the end and like implying all this like chemistry and like what?
That was one of my favorite things about watching this in a theater, is because like I had I wasn't going to like check my phone for the time. I don't even remember if I knew the runtime before going into it, because my expectations as I was watching through the movie, by the time they all decide to go after Dr. Doom and like follow him and do the, go through the portal and beat him up, I thought that was like the end of a first act. I was like, oh, interesting. That that was a really long first act, but we finally set things up, and I'm interested in seeing where things go. And then they just like beat him in 2 seconds, and then the movie ends. I'm like, wow. Like, the fact that was just so like monumentally unsatisfying was just the funniest thing to me. Like, I loved it.
Yeah,
It was
such an anticlimax.
It was genuinely funny.
It has one of the most fucked up pacing of any movie I've ever seen. Like the first half, I checked when I was watching, I was like halfway through, right in the middle is when they get their powers. I'm like, what? There's no way.
Yeah. It's mostly first act, yeah. Yeah, it's stupid.
That's why it felt like a first act still.
But also these changes that they're indulging in just make them much more unlikable as characters, because now they're like dumb teenagers trying to get, I guess, credit for building this machine that takes you to another dimension instead of just being these like scientists in space, and then there's something goes a bit wrong and they all get powers.
I want to be famous.
Putting more agency on them that way. Yeah. And showing like the fire going into one pod, and that's why it's the fire, and the rocks get sucked into another one. And that's why it's like, this is making it dumber.
And then him stretching. So like, if he didn't try to pull himself forward, would he be rubbery? Right? Was it the action that he took after getting out of the pod that gave him those powers? If I were to get zapped by the goo universe, and I just started doing push-ups, would I just be like the push-up guy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It makes it so much dumber when you try to apply that kind of logic to it, you know, where it's like it misses the forest for the trees entirely.
And then why is she invisible?
This way of doing it.
Wait, what does the push-up guy do? Is he just super strong only with push-ups?
And, he distracts people with how epic his push-ups are. That's his power. They're entrancing. It literally puts people in a trance.
What's the monkey's paw though? Like you can only walk around as if you're doing push-ups or something. Like you have to walk around like that.
Yeah, but you're just like the best at it. You have to walk on your hands.
This movie has a year later break right after they get their powers. You don't see them discover their power. They're just like a year later. Ben is working for the military, like committing like murder and like terrorizing foreign nations.
Yeah,
and it's like. It. But the movie is so ambivalent about its relationship to the military because, like, they're mad at Reed for running away, and it's like he should have stayed and like.
That's a dumb miscommunication.
Like he should have stayed and worked for the military, and like
I don't know if
what
he thought
you
that
doing?
through.
Like,
I think he's still pissed at him for like leaving in the vent. As if he could have done anything. Like, dude was stuck to the floor. I don't know what you expected him to do.
Yeah.
He was a rock man. It was a crazy situation.
But just the general concept of oh, you abandoned me and now you're probably out having fun somewhere. You didn't even call me. Like, I don't know. It's just that's one of the worst aspects of the plot is just that dumb miscommunication to have them be mad at each other. I hate it.
It's so poorly done, just the way it jumps, like all the fun stuff that you see in these other movies, like the best parts of the movies of just the dynamic of when they get their powers and exploring and all that. No, they're just a year later, they're all working for the U.S. military. Reed is out, they got to go get him. And then what happens then? Then Dr. Doom comes back and he's just like, I want to kill everyone. The end.
Yeah, what's his motivation? He's like, Earth actually isn't great. You guys are kind of lame over here, so you know. Why did he want to do that?
The green goo like makes him crazy. The green goo, he like loves his green goo world, and he hates Earth, and he wants to like turn the Earth into green goo world or something, like combine the dimensions with a big beam like going into the sky, something like that.
Sky beam, nice. The classic.
Whatever beam.
How did that manage to happen as just like a bad superhero movie hallmark? Like, why would they all copy
Avengers 2012? I think they all just copied that.
Oh, there was a good one in there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's the classic. Like, just becomes that's the formula. Let's do the formula. Cool.
That's fine.
It just gets worse and worse with each like iteration. Some of the things they like establish with the way, going back to how serious they're making it, the shape shifting like face and stuff like that, and then you're like really paying attention to his face, and then you notice the continuity of this facial hair just like appearing and disappearing between shots, and like you see on the computer with his like suit he's designed, it's called like the flexor coils and shit like that, and it's like, this is like dumb, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at these movies, these Fantastic Four movies, as like reactions to the trends. Like the 2005 one is a reaction to the Sam Raimi X-Men, phase of things.
Yeah.
This one is a reaction to the Dark Knight, I guess, like darker tone. But also
Man of Steel, like that serious, like dryness.
Man of Steel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kick-ass.
Yeah. So it's like now this new one coming up. What is the reaction there? Like, what are they? I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But
at least the new one looks like colorful. They have colors, and it looks like cartoonish and pulpy. Like I feel like that's somewhat inherent to translating the stuff. It's almost like as out of touch and crazy as that that 90s Mario movie, where it's like you've changed so much. Like, what is even the point of this existing outside of just the craziness of this existing in this form?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like James Gunn could handle Fantastic Four if he wanted to. I know he's busy on Superman, but
yeah, no doubt, he definitely.
Oh yeah, that's like his. Oh yeah, that makes way more sense for him to do that than to do Superman. But
yeah,
that's why I'm interested in both, because I'm like, how is James Gunn going to pull off Superman, and how is Marvel going to pull off this material in like a sincere way? Anyways, I don't know. Maybe we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
We're still talking about Fanforstic.
So yeah, this film was being pulled in different directions. So Josh Trank had like a baby meltdown. He had a little tantrum. He pooped his diapers. Decided to sabotage the production because he didn't get what he wanted, rather than just playing ball. Which, I mean, if you already signed a contract to do a fucking Marvel movie, you gotta play ball.
Expect?
What? Yeah, like literally.
What did you expect would happen?
Exactly. Like just bite the bullet, right? Tough it out for however long you have to. Even if you're making something that you feel is going to be a bad movie, you just take the money and ideally it's successful, right? Ideally it's a successful film, even if it's bad, but like you're kind of guaranteeing that it's not only going to be something that the fans hate, it's something that you hate, the studio hates, like not making any money. You're ensuring its own demise when you walk off set and you have to have other ghost directors come in to finish the movie doing reshoots. And then the film feels like an unfinished movie because nothing fucking happens and there's no buildup at the end. It feels like a fucking scam. So there's one thing we didn't mention about the drama that is very funny. One day before the film's release, Josh Trank tweeted, "A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality, though." So literally, before the release of the film, one day before its wide release, you're trashing it. Like, dude, do you want to work in the industry? Like, what you know?
That's wild.
It's crazy because he was like in. That's what's even more wild about that,
Yeah. Like, holy shit.
Like, why would you sandbag it that way?
Because I feel like in the studio system, like they would understand if you make a shitty movie, but you play ball and like you have your name attached to it. So like people would understand, how a movie can happen that's shitty in this giant studio system. But if you're doing that kind of shit, like then who's going to want to hire? I mean,
yeah,
I have no idea.
Trying to save face for your ego.
If like Fincher, when he was making Alien Cubed,
yeah,
like if he was making Alien Cubed and was like, fuck this, fuck all you. And then maybe he never would have had that leg into the industry and to what he put out there. Was there any like a Trank, like a Snyder cut type? We want to see the Trank cut because he doesn't have the fan base of a Snyder to get any wind behind their sails.
No, but I would like to see his original film. But it's most of it wasn't filmed, so it's not like on the editing room floor. So it's not something that we could get.
Let's get him on the podcast and just have him explain it beat by beat.
Yo, Trank, give us the whole screenplay.
Tell us about your dog shitting everywhere.
Yeah.
I want to know about that. There is stuff, though, that could have been studio, like, putting out a hit on him with, like, bad press and stuff. I could totally see that happening. Like, I'm sure, just him going out there and saying that this movie's bad. It would make sense for the studio to want to make him look as crazy and unprofessional as possible.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
really.
There's lots of sources. It's like apparently he was throwing punches at Miles Teller, and Kate Mara had some really bad stuff to say about him.
Oh, really? The actors all had bad stuff to say?
Yeah.
At least those two were the main ones I was reading
Okay.
that have been vocal about it.
I think that
whatnot.
in my mind, the type of person to abandon a movie and then try to save face for your own ego before it's out and basically tell people not to watch it when you're not the only person involved in the production, right? And other people's careers are on the line. That type of person that would do that, I think, would probably also do the other things he's accused of, and seems like a very emotionally unstable individual, right? So that's why I kind of just believe their take.
As Sue Storm says, there's a bit of a pattern.
Maybe Chronicle was more autobiographical than we thought.
Yeah, maybe.
Mad with power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't hate this movie.
I do.
Oh, I do.
I give it a low rating, but I don't hate it. I'm like more intrigued by it and like fascinated. And I'm not like super bored by it, honestly. I know a lot of people are.
Oh my god. It's unbearable.
I think it's really boring. I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah.
But I like reading about it more than actually watching it.
Yeah.
The only sliver of like, oh, that's the idea, is that reveal of the powers, and looking back at the stretched leg and the help me stuff or whatever.
It's great.
It's just like, the way it looks.
Like we're watching Warfare all of a sudden.
Yeah, but it's more just kind of like bizarre.
The acting's probably the best out of the four.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're good actors, but they're like, the direction is all crazy. They're like,
they have nothing to work with. Nothing.
It's so understated. There's no chemistry. Like,
true.
there are scenes where they'll just start laughing at nothing. Like, they'll just say nothing and then just start laughing. Like, oh, let's pretend we have chemistry. Like,
yeah, the awkward like this is going on Instagram, like shit. Like how are you supposed to sell that stuff? Like you're the science guy in the other dimension, and that's the line you're saying.
They didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like Michael Chiklis, like he gives like an awesome performance, and he's putting on this like crazy suit that takes like 4 hours to put on, and it's like so it's like a CG rock guy, and they can't even make him like cool or interesting or do anything with any of these characters.
Also, Miles Teller has played more of like an introverted, shy type of character in Whiplash, like I think like a year before this came out, right? Yeah, 2014 was Whiplash, yeah. So like he can pull that off, but in this, it just seems like he's a jock, like pretending to be shy. It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's just a weird angle to make the characters so young. I feel like part of the fun of it is that they're all kind of a bit older, like the already established scientists.
They look just the same age as the 2005 characters.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of a disaster from every angle.
Maybe if they cast actual like 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
I thought the music wasn't bad. Not as good as the 94, but much better than the 2005 and 2007.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even
I thought it was about on the same level. Like, just nothing going on, really.
Yeah.
There was something there. It wasn't like completely cynical. Like it was definitely following like this is what you should, this is the type of tone / genre you should be doing for superhero-ish movies in this time period. Like it was definitely in there, but yeah, it wasn't terrible.
I'd like to see someone put the 94 Fan4Stick music on top of this one.
Sure, why not?
It looks like. It would probably improve it by like 2 stars for me.
Or the 94 Fan4Stick effects. Just like a rubber arm. Well, he's like, help me.
Anything at all would just make this so much better. It's even something bad. Just anything. Give us something.
A lot of people saw it. There's 183,000 ratings on IMDb. A lot of people were morbidly curious.
Well, they didn't go out to the cinema, really.
Yeah,
$120 million budget. Only returned 167, so
yeah,
mega flop.
Not what they were hoping for. Yeah, I don't hate this. 3 out of 10.
It
was interesting.
All right.
Man, I agree that it's interesting, but that I don't think really anything about it as a film works. There's not a single good, interesting character. There's flashes of like an interesting concept that would be better in a movie inspired perhaps by the Fantastic Four, not using the IP. I think it misses the entire point of these characters. There's no fun to be had. There's no pulp. There's no color. It's kind of a unmitigated disaster. Half star.
Yeah, I think, Alex, you said it perfectly. 1 out of 10, half star for me. Yeah.
Why is the 4K Blu-ray $40 right now?
Must have only printed like 100 of them.
Are you gonna buy this on Blu?
I was thinking about it.
You're not.
Not for $40. I was if it was like $5, I would buy it. Because a flop like this,
God.
You know,
yeah, for that Josh Trank commentary track on the bonus features.
Like when you get something that's like a big, supposed to be a big Marvel movie or whatever, and then no one buys it. Generally, you get like some good deals. They're just trying to get rid of them.
Are there ever any $5 4Ks out there?
$12.
I feel like every 4K disc is at least $20.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
If you overprint. Yeah. And you have no idea what to do with them, then you start selling them for cheaper. But yeah, $40 is way too much. I'm not doing that.
You should do it. Complete your collection.
No, I should be more responsible with my money right now. I've had a lot of other expenses. Thanks for the recommendations.
Join the Patreon so Adam can buy 4K Fan 4 stick. 4K stick.
Needs it.
Yeah. Question time.
Right. Let's do some questions then from the Sardonicast community. Head over to the suggestion thread over on the subreddit if you want to ask questions for future episodes, just like Pelican122 did. Is there an Adam can't stand Star Wars equivalent for Jake and Alex? I'll let you have a think for a second, Jake, while I guess I have a couple of things that bob into my head. Just anything that Illumination make, I think is my go-to, I don't think any of these are good. They're so cynical and insincere.
Are you allergic to them?
And they've, I'm quite allergic to them. I just feel like I can see the boardroom. I can see the Don Draper's cynically designing this perfect, cheaply made animated kids film that just doesn't really care about anything. Maybe that, or another one. It's not even that I dislike the original movie that started the franchise, but I don't get why we have so many Ghostbusters movies. I don't understand why it couldn't be a one and done situation. The original I enjoy, is cool, but why are there 5 of these fucking films and most of them are terrible and pointless? So I'd say there's nothing exciting about Ghostbusters or any Illumination project, and that includes the Mario movie. Fuck that movie.
Yeah. I guess I've only seen 2 Illumination films. Mario and the Duck one.
You never saw any of the Despicable Me's?
No. Why the fuck?
Right.
Of course not.
You're not a baby. Why would you watch a baby movie?
I mean, there's good kids movies.
Yeah, that's my point. Is you're just being harsh to kids' movies. And it's those kids grow up into adults.
Yeah,
I would say for mine, I guess Zack Snyder movies. That's kind of I just really, really hate. I think it started with Man of Steel when I saw that was a very particular moment of fuck this, whatever this type of filmmaking is, just very on the nose, very bombastic and focusing on things that I find very superficial in filmmaking in general, that has made movies and more shallow. And I get there are people who would defend Zack Snyder, and that's totally I have no problem with that or anything like that. Just he has such a cult of people that treat him like God, and I don't get it, and I find his movies very boring.
Yeah, no, that's a good pull, because I don't think I've ever had a director quite on this level that I did sort of enjoy in the 2000s to a certain point. But I went back and tried to watch Watchmen like a year or two ago and was like, now all the Snyderisms are here, and like this made me like reassess him completely. So it's like, man,
wow,
how does 300 even like hold up? Like, I don't know.
That's how I feel about James Cameron.
No.
Ooh,
yeah,
right in my heart.
Yeah. Just fucking rewatching Aliens or whatever. I'm like, Space Marines, the fucking robot suit, like all these water. Okay,
I love the water stuff.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah, what's wrong with water? Goodness. Oh, maybe that would be the next spy recommendation. Every James Cameron movie.
Oh, okay, great. Since you brought up Zack Snyder, I was actually thinking, the Fant Four Stick doing its like bad, seriously toned, dark kind of interpretation of superhero movies. I still prefer that to any Snyder superhero movie. I feel like it does it better than those, for me anyway. Like I'm actually able to like understand what it's doing and why it would do that for parts of the movie.
No, I'd pick Snyder over.
I guess if I have to compare, I would still say Man of Steel is better than.
I actually would pick Man of Steel over Fan. Yeah, because at least there is.
Yeah.
I don't agree or like his voice, but it is a voice. It's not nothing.
It's more consistent too. It is a tone. But it's not really a tone, I think, that makes sense for that character or that movie, but it's at least consistent within itself, Whereas I don't know what Fan Four Stick was. Doesn't really nail anything. Yeah. Well, speaking of, Shadow Conspiracy asks, which Fantastic Four power would you want and why?
Stretchy.
They all suck.
You want to be made out of rocks? I feel like there's three like solid choices, and like who wants to be a rock man? I mean, I'm sure there's probably a handful that would like that.
Who wants to be some kind of geological dude?
Yeah.
I don't know, stretching might be handy.
Exactly. That's the most practical. You could do whatever you want.
So like going invisible, to be fair.
But then everyone would accuse you of every crime.
I guess. If they found out you could do it.
Yeah, as long as you had a really good lawyer.
That annoyed me in Four Stick, where like the Dr. Doom is like strangling Mr. Fantastic, and it's like, aren't you like a stretchy dude? Like, how do you strangle someone who can like stretch? Like, can't you just like stretch your neck out of this? Or like,
that's what I was yelling at the screen to have happen. Also,
just stretch out of it, dude.
I'd pick flying, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah, fire flying. There's like no downside to three of them. So like
the fire one. I guess so.
Yeah.
As long as you have
like
very good control over turning it on and off, which I don't know if that was like when I'm thinking of like the Chris Evans one or whatever. It seems like sometimes he just like did it in inappropriate situations, and I think the risk of that outweighs the coolness of flying and being able to have fire powers.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas like if I accidentally am stretchy or whatever, there's nothing bad happening.
I don't know. He's like walking around his apartment, like popping popcorn.
Like, oh no, I became more stretchy than I wanted to right now.
I feel like flying is less of a exciting thing for me. The older I get, of thinking like, okay, where would I go? Like, all right, I'm just flying myself. I can't like bring my wife and my kid, because I'm on fire.
True.
Like, all right, am I going to meet you guys there? Like, yeah, like how fast am I going? It'd probably be much faster to take a jet.
Yeah, you'd have to like register yourself as like an aircraft thing. You'd have to like communicate.
You have like an air permit.
Yeah, you'd definitely run into legal trouble just being in the sky at all, because you'd have to avoid any air traffic. Like they would get your ass legally if you tried flying. Whereas stretchy,
I feel like all of them would probably get you in legal trouble.
The stretchy one?
I reckon stretchy, you'd get experimented on, like people would want to know what's up. You know, if you flexed it in any way, if anyone sees that you can do that, they want to know.
I live in Canada. I think
you have the government knocking at your door.
You can be stretchy in Canada.
The notoriously aggressive Canadian government will want to know how you're stretching that way.
Yeah. Well, our new dictator, Mark Carney, would definitely kidnap me.
Damn.
Yeah, stretchy's my answer. Easy.
Yeah, I'd go stretch. Yeah, I want to be a stretchy dude.
Invisible.
I want to know your guys' opinions on this one from Orwellian_wizard. Saw a trend on TikTok about a hypothetical battle between 100 Americans and 100 Brits. I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on the matter. Personally, I think the battle could be won with just 5 Florida men. We can add in 100 Canadians too to make this fair. Who's winning?
Are we allowed weapons? Because like Americans have guns, like that would be easy. If it's just like,
with guns, like obviously Americans, but without guns, I'm going with the Brits because Americans are antisocial and fat.
Yeah, like I don't know. Is it 100 Americans? So like what, 2 from every state or something? Or can they all be from one state? Because there's very different like cultures throughout America. You know, there's not just one idea of what an American is.
Yeah, similar here. But you just got a way bigger pool to choose from in America. Just like there's like hundreds of millions more people there. So just like proportionally, there are going to be like 100 Florida men versus, I don't know if the Somerset Gimp can handle going up against Florida man. You know, like, I don't know what our craziest stuff.
If it's like randomly decided from your population, I guess we'd have to look at like how healthy the average American versus Brit is.
I'm going with Brits. I gotta say,
maybe I'd wager the Brits then. If it's random, if you get to choose, I feel like America would win. But if it's randomized, then
I mean, I don't know about you, Alex, but I feel like aren't you guys all just like getting into random brawls every time someone plays soccer or something? Yeah.
After a soccer game, after the pub. Yeah, we're violent people and aggressive people.
It's football. Why are you? I can't believe you're calling it soccer, Alex. Stand your ground.
That's a win. That's a win for us.
Oh my God. So yeah, I guess we decided Americans would win. Jesus Christ. Over. Alex, you gave up. You gave up.
They've already won in a way.
Oh my God. You are a race traitor.
And what about Canadians? They're nowhere. The British race have betrayed them.
Yes. Also, I like how the question said throw in 100 Canadians. I'm like, who am I fighting though? Like who are the Canadians fighting?
No, I threw in the 100 Canadians.
Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah. Who are the Canadians fighting? Geese.
Yeah. They didn't even acknowledge the. Yeah, they're just over on the side fighting, I guess, themselves.
Fighting the goose.
Yeah.
One bear-sized goose. Terrifying.
Let's end on this one from Alex the Man 99. No, it's not me. With the recent release of The Weeknd's companion movie to his album, Hurry Up Tomorrow, bombing critically and commercially, what would be your dream album to have an accompanying movie? I remember that you guys have talked about Pink Floyd's The Wall movie in a previous episode. That's a good one. Are any of you going to watch this movie? I've seen some clips, so it's kind of funny.
I'm going to watch it when it's out on digital for sure.
Yeah.
You can count on that for me.
Isn't it like a notable director too?
Yeah, Trey Edward Schultz.
Oh, so weird.
So allegedly he was like depressed after making Waves and A24 like kind of botching the release and no one seeing it. And so allegedly like The Weeknd having this idea for him got him back into like the idea of making movies again and being more comfortable with it. So if that's what we get out of it is like, oh, Trey makes a shitty movie, but he's making more movies after this, that's a win for me. So
yeah.
I mean, Creepshow was so good.
Nice. I have a Blu-ray.
Waves was great too.
Yeah. It comes at night.
It's a shame no one saw it, I guess.
He hasn't made a bad film aside from the one that I haven't seen yet, allegedly. So, yeah, apparently it comes out digitally like this week. So I'll probably just see it this weekend, honestly.
Oh, wow. God, it's so quick now, the turnaround.
Wait, what was the question?
Oh, the question was, what's an album you'd actually like to see in
an
an accompanying movie?
I have one.
Oh, but what's your answer?
I would like to see, because Paul Schrader directed the music video for Tight Connection to My Heart with Bob Dylan's song, and it's insane. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that music video, but it's brilliant and so cocaine 80s, everything. Like, it's perfect.
Right.
It is so baffling and funny. I wish that there was a full movie for that entire album, Empire Burlesque. Just look up the album art for Empire Burlesque, Bob Dylan, and you'll get an idea of what it would be like.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I can see the vision, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's how it was fun. Man, I feel like I'm such a broken record with the animation shit, but an animated Gorillaz project of some kind, Demon Days,
sure.
Something like that. I know that was supposed to manifest in some form. Like, over the years, they've been like, there's going to be a TV show, there's going to be a Netflix movie, and it just never comes together. But that would definitely be my answer if it was animated like the old 2D music videos. I think that would be really cool. Sorry for the joke, I guess, the 2D joke. Yeah, that would be my pick.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite albums, I'm not sure like what that would look like as a film or if it should be. Like, I don't know, East by Joanna Newsom, like, that's so weird, but then I'm like, what would that translate to? What would you even show?
Could be interesting.
You know, fucking Ex-Military by Death Grips. That could be fun. Like, as long as it looks fucked up, I don't even care if it has a plot. Their music videos are interesting enough. The Turning Wheel by Spelling. It's a great album.
Yeah,
what would you even put? What would you even put in there visually? I don't know. I'm just naming albums I like. Fucking Random Access Memories. I have no idea. I have no idea for this answer.
No, this is some good
How
ones.
about if we took the original soundtrack for The Lion King and turned that into a movie? But it's like a documentary this time.
What would that look like? Ooh, that's clever. People would see that.
Yeah.
More than the original.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea.
Wait. I just realized we never actually talked about the new Fantastic Four. Do you guys have like, share your quick thoughts about like what you're anticipating or anything?
We got 10 minutes or whatever.
I'm most excited about how they're going to do a couple of these concepts, like what tone they're going to take, especially considering the way they're fairly serious. They have comedic kind of elements, these movies, but they try to take them seriously. How they're going to do that stretching, how they're going to do Galactus eating planets. I'm super curious how that's going to happen. There's a lot like riding on the movie as far as like...
Yeah, it seems like it.
It's quite important that it does well, I think, for like the future of these movies. I'm pretty sure these characters are going to be like banked on somewhat.
I hope it bombs.
So yeah, I don't know. I hope it's good. I would like to see these characters done well, and the trailers look interesting.
Yeah. I like Vanessa Kirby. She's interesting.
Yeah, she's
to
cool.
See there.
She'll probably be an actual character this time.
I mean, they're gonna make it woke by not having her have to be naked 5 times.
Oh man, I can't wait for those a million videos about that.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. They're gonna. I mean, yeah. It seems like they might put some effort into characterizing her. If not, then what are you doing? Because that's like one of the obvious things to clean up from the other iterations.
Yeah. What about you, Jake? How are you feeling about it?
Oh, I'm actually excited. Like, I really like the retro futurist tone they're going with.
Yeah.
The trailers look fun. I like the style. It's a little different from what they normally do. The music, I like the Fantastic Four. Like, there's something fun, very Incredibles-esque, like very overtly trying to go for that tone. But it's like, they should. That's the tone to go for. If you're going to try to do this. Like, if you're going to try to be good, go after what's great. So I have hopes for it. One thing I'm hoping they manage to balance is like the comedy silliness with the seriousness. Right now, it just feels like they're going full serious, like really intense. I'm kind of hoping they keep some of that campiness, but who knows? Probably not.
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. We're probably going to get a fucking Robert Downey Jr. cameo at the end or something, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go down.
They're gonna want to set that up.
Especially with like Thunderbolts. With Thunderbolts like not doing that well.
Box office. Do you guys think do you think box office Superman or Fantastic Four wins?
Superman wins.
Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, I mean, it's the name of the character. You just put that on the fucking title. You can already tell. You know?
It also does look a bit better. Doesn't have the baggage really that Marvel kind of has on its shoulders.
Yeah, it's a clean slate kind of thing.
Yeah.
The name attached to it is better. Who the fuck is Matt Shackman? Who the hell are you? They did WandaVision. Cool. I don't care.
Oh, the director, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I'm excited for it to come out and hear you two talk about it and me do better things with my life. So.
Wait, okay, Adam, you haven't seen them yet, but what's your rating?
Oh, for the new Fantastic Four movie, First Steps?
For both of them and Superman, what's your rating?
Superman? I'll probably give Superman a high 6 or a low 7 if it's really impressive. Right? We'll see. It might be like a 6. And then Fantastic Four First Steps. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it, but let's just say like a 4 or a 5, somewhere around there. Those are my expectations.
Okay.
For like either of those two.
If it gets a 5 from you, I consider that a massive success.
Yeah. I mean, I consider that to be a normie masterpiece.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm getting ready for our normie masterpieces.
Oh, good.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
questions and stuff.
I think we did it.
So Pride Month is saving both of you. Even though what I was going to recommend, I didn't consider to be a spite recommendation. It was just something that was like kind of short. But I'm like, I should probably do a gay thing. Because it's Pride Month. We always forget to tie it in with like occasions, you know? We always forget Halloween to do a horror movie. We never do a Christmas movie. We like rarely do these things. So I'm just we're gonna do it. And I noticed that there was one from a director that I have yet to pop my cherry on and have been meaning to for a while. Named Wong Kar-wai. He directed a film called Happy Together.
Oh.
And it's a romantic drama. And looks like there's 2 dudes in it. So
sweet.
Yeah, very excited. Have either of you seen a Wong Kar-wai film?
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Yeah, I've been meaning to for a while. So
I've seen Chungking Express, I think, but I've definitely seen In the Mood for Love.
Yeah, those are the big ones people talk about. Happy Together, 1997, Wong Kar-wai. And it's not that long either. It's 96 minutes. So this should be a breeze. If you want
to
watch that and not get spoiled by listening to our podcast, then watch it before the next episode is out. These episodes come out every 2 weeks. You can listen to them early by going to sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. You can listen to the show ad-free. Also, patreon.com/sardonicast. Also, just click the fucking thing below the video that says join for members or whatever. Join. You can listen to it ad-free and early. Early and ad-free. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. What are you going to do? Buy YouTube Premium?
Yes.
What are you going to do? Install an ad blocker?
No.
Those things are bad. Also, Google's been doing this thing where they've just been making anybody who installs an ad blocker just have like a really annoying experience.
Yep.
Where they'll just make it so that things aren't working properly. People go like, why is the video messed up? It's because you have an ad blocker extension. So get rid of that. Or whitelist our videos or something. Can you do that? No, because they're not like a dedicated page. Whatever.
I don't use ad blocker.
We gotta go. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a happy Together 1997 film.
A happy clobbering time.
A happy clopping time. Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.